This is more of an update video than a part video on the car. I've been buying parts. My envelope is starting to get thicker. I've probably spent about $1,200 so far on things. I picked this up and I got plenty of 1500 grit sandpaper from estate sales, so I'm going to use this to polish all the crank journals. I ordered the rebuild kit for the engine, and the rebuild kit came with pistons, so I'll measure the new pistons to the old ones, and I think I'll use the old ones because there's 4 3/1000 silver pistons. But this, after you put some sandpaper around there, you wrap this numerous times around, then two-handed you pull it. I'll show you how I do it when I get to it. And picked this up in an estate sale, a bunch of screwdriver tips and like a screw extractor kit. So that was $1 for all that. $1 for a bunch of tips. Just these alone I use the heck out of. I also got some of this. This is the stuff I usually use, but I thought I'd try this. And then I have another item to clean the engine. Hang on, I'll see if I can. So I had to hunt around for it. It's like a pneumatic suction gun, and I'll put this end in a gallon of lacquer thinner, and then I can spray the. I'm going to wash it all out with water and the gunk, and then blow it off with compressed air. The crank will be out, and then when I'm all done, I'll do the final cleaning with the lacquer thinner, and I'll pull all the plugs and blow out all the oil galleries too. There is I think up here, there's a plug back in behind this. One of these cam bearing bolts. There's an oil gallery plug for the lifters, and that's for the lifter valley. So I'll pull all those out and clean them, because the engine rebuild kit comes with all the freeze plugs, all the oil plugs, the whole bailiwick. So I'm even getting cam lifters, timing chain gears, oil pump, pretty much all the moving parts. And like I say, I may use the original pistons. I got the radiator back from the radiator shop. So he told me it was a Recore, and it was in really good shape, but he did clean it. Let me show you the inside. Let me get my light here. And then there was a baffle. See that baffle right below where the cap is? He said that was missing, and that'll cause radiator cap blow-off problems. So I got the radiator ready to go, and as long as I'm standing here. I also got a bunch of paint. Now this is what I use on like the undercarriage to prime where there's rust, and this is what I use to paint undercarriages. And I use Rust-Oleum because it's extremely durable and it's easy to touch up. I've used every product under the sun, Pour 15, all these expensive, highfalutin brands, and when it comes right down to it, with my 40 years of experience on working on old cars, Rust-Oleum is truly the best for rusty or surface rusted metal. I also had a quart of blue mix for the engine. I took him the valve cover, and he kind of made a test mix. This is, I think, for 4 ounces. And I'll show you the match on that too. That's what I used to thin the Rust-Oleum. So I threw this in my parts washer and cleaned it up. And one thing I wanted to show, well, that's the paint match. That's the bit of paint. This is a little discolored from, the oil cap breathing. But this is the true, I think, color of the engine. And that's pretty much all a perfect match. The inside of the valve covers, as you remember when I took them off, looked like they were full of sludge. And when I went to move them one day and I touched it, my finger went right through. It was like a thin film, like this is paint in here. And it was like that had peeled away and was hanging down, and my fingers just went through it. So they weren't full of sludge. They're actually pretty clean. Now I'm going to bead blast these before I paint them. And I'll probably completely assemble the engine before I paint it, and I think it'll turn out pretty nice. Might do the air cleaner sooner, just to, you know, one day I feel like playing, and then that way it can dry, because it has decals. And I like the paint to dry at least a month for all the solvents to evaporate. If you try and put your stickers or decals on and it hasn't dried for at least a month, it starts bubbling, the stickers. I also cleaned this up. The trans cooler lines where they had a little bracket holding them to the engine, let's see right here, they have some little pinholes. So I'm going to make new trans cooler lines or buy new ones. I can buy these reproduction. The transmission cleaned up pretty good. It's been a little difficult finding parts for this old Cruise-O-Matic. It's an MX. M as in Mary, X. And I found a new vacuum modulator. It's got a yellow band. I got a pan sump gasket and filter screen. But I got to take the valve body out to get this shift shaft out to replace the seal. And I couldn't find a seal kit anywhere for it. Complete seal kit. I was able to get this seal and the front torque converter and tail housing seal. So I'm going to see if I can get in there somehow with the tools and not have to take the valve body out, because there's a couple tubes that go off of it and stuff and seals. So we'll worry about that when we get to it. But I did get the tail housing, torque converter, and that seal. So that cleaned up nice. This was originally black. I'm going to clean this up a little bit more. I took a razor knife, flat razor knife, and scraped all the heavy stuff off that and this, and then I wiped it down with a rag and lacquer thinner, and hit some of this with the pressure washer to get the crud out of where I couldn't get really well, and that cleaned up nice. So I'll probably repaint this when I'm all done, you know, before I put it back in the car. And this I'm going to clean up a little bit more, maybe with some steel wool and lacquer thinner, maybe even the bell housing. We'll see. Looks pretty good. I think with a coat of black paint on the case, it'll look magnificent. Also got to take a day and start cleaning the bracketry, and you know, I'm getting to that point now where I got to start cleaning and painting things. I took the pressure washer to the cross member and cleaned it up pretty nice. I did order a new trans mount, and I am going to replace the engine mounts too. So that should be in the next day or two here. I'll paint that before I put it back in the car. I also took the crusty battery tray out. Now this isn't going to be a hard repair. This is the bottom. There's a couple little ribs. That's originally the part that was there. But you know, the battery acid wreaked havoc here. So this, as you can see, is spot welded along here. And I don't know if you can or not. And then it's just bent down. See how it just ends right there? So I can make that piece new, no effort at all. And the core support where this bolt is a little rust, I'll cut that out and weld a new piece in there. And that'll look pretty good. And I just kind of took a putty knife and scraped some of the heavy stuff off things. That's the paint, original paint. It cleaned up pretty good. I still haven't touched the steering gear, maybe Sunday or Monday. I'm going to have to, I think, replace the bushing for the sector shaft too. I think it's part of the reason why it's leaking. So hopefully I can get the parts for it. And I'm going to, that Custom Crafters magazine for the Galaxie parts, I'm going to start ordering all the dual brake master cylinder, maybe the you know, I'll just go through and order everything I need for the brakes, and some other odds and ends that I know I need, and then as I need more, I'll order more. But I'm going to try and put an order together. The hoses, the belts, the hose clamps, I can get all that from them. That'll look like the OEM stuff. And so, you know, it's maybe $2 or $3 more to get the stuff that'll kind of look nice, you know, and make it look, you know, factory. So I'm gonna spend the money and the extra few dollars and get the stuff. Oh, and one other thing, I got the heater cord too. Yeah, this is record, so It's going to be the Ford quality. It did have some numbers on it. I don't know if they're K26. It's got a part number on this way, on this side. I don't know if that shows up. I can't even... Oh, here. Read it on this side. It's maybe, I don't know what that first is, a 0 or C-5AE-10476-A, and then over here it says 4K26 and it says FOMOCO. So we got a heater core record. And the water pump I can get from that Car Crafter's place too, and they're about 50 bucks from them, so it's a lot cheaper than everywhere else. And as soon as I have the valve seals, those will go to the rebuilder. I have the carb kit, well, right here. Autolite 4100. I have hundreds of carb kits. I used to buy them in auto parts or stuff that were closed, you know, places that would be going out of business or closing up, or buy out dealers' old inventories. That's one thing I hoarded for some reason. I got tons of them, and I'm keeping every one of them because then when I need one I can go grab it and have it at the carburetor. And I've just been cleaning up other little odds and ends of parts too. This has got a date code on it too. Well, that's backwards. Or maybe it wasn't. It looks like a mirror image or something. Oh no, I was looking at it. The D is backwards. But anyway, that's it's either a date code or some type of number. So that's on the that's between the transmission and the engine, you know, like between the flywheel and the engine, I should say. Well, just stay tuned and I'll try and get that off in the next video or two. And when I get all the parts for this, we'll do a video on the tons of parts I'm getting for this. So I probably spent $700 online last night between the engine and the transmission, and I got probably about I don't know, $600 or $700 worth of receipts in there. So yeah, I'm probably in that $1,200 to $1,400 range right now on the car. You know, and I'll get new plug wires that you can get, the plug wires that look like the originals, and you know, why not? For a little extra cost, another, you know, I'm spending this kind of money, what's another $2 or $3? It's not like, you know, hundreds of dollars. If it was, you know, $200 or $300 difference, no, but for $2 or $3, you know, maybe $5 at the most for an item, yeah, I can do it. Well, if you like the video, hit the like button, and if you want to see this car resurrected, stay tuned to my channel and subscribe to it, and thank you for watching.